The Strange Dot Meeting. Chapter 1. The Unexpected Invitation. A mild winter breeze swept through the city streets as Emily hurried along the path, her thick scarf wrapped tightly around her neck. The day had started like any other routine, and uneventful. She had woken up to the soft murmur of her alarm, gone to work, and spent the afternoon dealing with mundane office tasks. But everything changed when she returned home. Her apartment door, usually secure and unassuming, had been ajar. Emily froze for a moment, her heart racing. She knew she'd locked it before leaving. Slowly, she pushed the door open and stepped inside, calling out to anyone who might be there. The place was empty, quiet, but something felt off. There on the floor sat a small, unassuming envelope addressed to her in elegant handwriting. Curious and somewhat cautious, Emily picked it up. The paper was smooth, creamy, and seemed out of place against the usual bills and junk mail she received. She opened it carefully, revealing a single sheet of paper with a cryptic message: "Meet me at the old library at midnight. You'll not find the answers you've been seeking. Come alone." No signature, no return address, just those words, sending a chill down her spine. Emily hesitated. Who would leave such a letter? And why her? Yet, deep down, she felt an undeniable pull to follow through. Something about the words intrigued her, stirred a sense of curiosity she couldn't shake. She glanced at the clock. It was only a few hours until midnight. Time seemed to stretch and twist, and she found herself making the decision almost before she realized it. The old library was not a place she frequented. In fact, it had been abandoned for years, ever since the new modern library was built in the center of town. But rumors persisted that strange happenings occurred there in the dead of night. Perhaps Emily thought tonight would be one of those nights. Chapter 2. The library's secrets. As midnight approached, Emily found herself standing outside the library, staring up at the dark, imposing structure. The ancient stone building loomed in front of her, its Gothic arches casting eerie shadows under the light of a single flickering street lamp. Her breath hung in the cold air, a swirl of fog forming around her mouth as she hesitated at the steps. Every instinct pulled her to turn away, to retreat to the warmth and safety of her apartment. But that envelope had promised answers, and Emily was not the type to leave questions unanswered. The door creaked as she pushed it open, the hinges protesting against the silence of the night. Inside, the library smelled of dust and aged paper, a musty aroma that reminded her of forgotten things. The faintest echo of footsteps reverberated in the empty halls, though she could see no one. She walked slowly, her footsteps quiet on the stone floor, until she came to the central reading area. The large wooden tables were shrouded in darkness, and rows upon rows of bookshelves stood like silent sentinels, guarding their secrets. The atmosphere was thick with an oppressive stillness, the kind that only deepens when one is certain they are not alone. Suddenly, a soft voice broke through the silence. You came. Emily spun around, her heart leaping into her throat. Standing at the far end of the room was a figure, cloaked in shadow. She could barely make out the details, but the voice was unmistakable. It was calm, almost soothing, but it held an undercurrent of something unidentifiable, something dangerous. Who are you? She asked, trying to steady her breathing. The figure stepped closer, emerging from the shadows. It was a woman dressed in an old fashioned black gown, her features obscured by the dim light. She wore a strange smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. You don't remember me, do you? The woman asked softly. Emily frowned. I don't think I've ever met you. The woman nodded slowly, her expression unreadable, perhaps not. But you've been looking for something, haven't you? Something that's been just out of reach. Double quotes. Emily felt a shiver run down her spine. What do you mean? The woman's smile deepened. You've always had a connection to this place, whether you knew it or not. And now your time has come. Double quotes. Before Emily could respond, the woman reached out, pulling her into the heart of the library. She didn't resist. She couldn't. Something about the woman's presence held a magnetic force, as if she was meant to be there at that moment for some unknown reason. Chapter 3. The Book of Forgotten Souls. The woman led Emily to a section of the library that seemed different from the rest. The shelves here were covered in a thick layer of dust, and the books appeared ancient, their leather covers cracked and faded. There was an unsettling silence, broken only by the sound of the woman's footsteps and the occasional creak of the floorboards beneath them. Double quotes here, the woman said, her fingers brushing against a particular book on the shelf. She pulled it free, and the moment she did, Emily felt a strange sensation wash over her, like a shift in the air, or perhaps a change in reality itself. The book was thick, bound in dark red leather, and embossed with intricate symbols. The woman opened it to the first page and handed it to Emily. Double quotes. Read it, she said, her voice almost a whisper. Emily hesitated but couldn't resist the urge to look. The words on the page seemed to shimmer, as if the ink itself was alive. She read aloud the first sentence. The souls of the forgotten reside in this place, bound by the ancient curse that keeps them locked within these walls. Double quotes. The words stirred something deep inside Emily, a memory or a feeling that she couldn't quite place. She continued reading. Only the chosen may break the curse, but it comes at a cost. To release them is to release yourself. Double quotes. A cold shiver ran through her, and she looked up at the woman. What does this mean? What is this place? The woman smiled, her eyes gleaming in the dim light. This is the Book of Forgotten Souls. It has the power to reveal the truth, but it also demands a sacrifice from those who seek it. You've been drawn here for a reason, Emily. Why me? She asked, her voice trembling. Because, the woman said, you've always been part of the curse. And now, you are the key to its undoing. Emily felt a sinking feeling in her stomach. There was so much she didn't understand. But deep down, she knew one thing. Her life was about to change forever. Chapter 4. The Price of Knowledge. Emily's single quotes had spun as the woman spoke, her words like threads weaving a tapestry of dark history and forgotten truths. She learned that the library had once been a sanctuary for scholars, a place of learning and enlightenment. But something had gone horribly wrong, and the library had become a prison, not only for the souls of the lost, but for the very essence of knowledge itself. The curse, the woman explained, had been cast by a group of scholars who sought to uncover the deepest secrets of the universe. They had delved too far, too deeply, and in their quest for ultimate knowledge, they had unleashed something ancient and powerful, something that could never be controlled. That's why you're here, the woman said. You are the descendant of the very people who created this curse. You carry their bloodline, and with it, the power to break it. Emily's heart raced. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. How could this be true? She had no memory of such a heritage, no knowledge of any dark past tied to her family. Why didn't I know? Emily whispered, her voice breaking. The woman's expression softened. Because you were protected. But now that you've come, the choice is yours. You can leave and the curse will remain, or you can stay and face the consequences. Double quotes. Emily looked down at the book in her hands, feeling the weight of the decision before her. There was a heavy silence, a moment suspended in time. Finally, she looked up at the woman. What happens if I choose to stay? The woman's smile was haunting, as if she knew something that Emily didn't. If you choose to stay, the curse will break, but the cost will be more than you can imagine. You will never be the same again. Double quotes. Emily stood still, contemplating the choice before her. Whatever path she chose, there was no going back. The library seemed to hold its breath as she made her decision, and the weight of the world pressed down on her shoulders. And then, with a resolve she didn't know she had, Emily closed the book. I'll stay, she said, her voice steady, though her heart raced. The woman's smile grew, and for the first time, Emily felt something that wasn't fear, a strange sense of acceptance. She had made her choice. Now this strange meeting was about to reach its inevitable conclusion. The truth and the price were waiting for her. Chapter 5. The ritual of breaking. Emily's single quotes as heart pounded as the woman's eerie smile lingered in the dim light of the library. She couldn't explain it, but something inside her stirred as she stood there, clutching the Book of Forgotten Souls. The weight of the decision, the knowledge of what breaking the curse would cost her, pressed against her chest. It felt like she was standing at the edge of a precipice, knowing that even one step forward would change her life forever. The woman whose presence seemed to distort the very air around them raised her hand and gestured for Emily to follow. She led her through the maze of ancient shelves until they reached the center of the grand hall. Stood a large, circular stone platform, the floor around it was etched with intricate runes that seemed to pulse with faint light, as if alive. Double quotes. This is where it began, the woman explained, her voice low, almost reverent. And this is where it will end. Emily felt a tremor of fear ripple through her. The air seemed to hum with ancient power, and she had no doubt that the library itself, this place, this dark sanctuary, was alive with the magic that had trapped it in time. She looked down at the stone platform, feeling its weight, its gravity. It was the fulcrum of everything. The woman gestured to the book Emily still held in her hands. You must place it here. The book is the key to releasing the souls, but it cannot be done by force. You must make a choice, one final decision. Emily's single quotes as palms began to sweat as she approached the platform. The book felt heavier with every step she took. What do I have to do? She asked, trying to steady her voice, but the uncertainty in her was palpable. The woman stepped back, her expression unreadable, opened the book to the final page. Read the words aloud. But know this, once you begin the ritual, there is no turning back. The curse will be broken, but the price will be paid. Double quotes. Emily nodded, though she felt her insides twist with doubt. She had come this far. There was no turning back now. The whispers of the forgotten souls, the invisible weight of their sorrow, seemed to press against her chest as she opened the book. The final page was covered in strange symbols, glowing faintly, and as Emily read the words aloud, the temperature in the room dropped. The stone beneath her feet seemed to tremble, and the runes on the floor flared with light. I call upon the forgotten to be freed from their bindings, she read, her voice growing stronger despite the panic building in her chest. By the blood of the cursed and the fire of the unbroken, let the chains of the past be severed. A wind began to howl through the library, carrying with it the whispers of hundreds. Thousands of lost voices. The book in her hands began to shake violently, its pages turning by themselves as if an unseen force was desperately trying to stop the ritual. Then, with a final cry, the stone platform cracked open, revealing a dark chasm beneath. A blinding light surged upward from the depths, and Emily was thrown back by the force of the eruption. Her vision went white. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself standing in a completely different place. Gone were the shelves, the stone walls, the eerie presence of the woman. Instead, she was standing on a vast, empty plain, the sky above swirling with dark clouds and flashes of lightning. The ground beneath her feet was cracked and dry, as if it had not seen life in centuries. Before her stood a figure cloaked in darkness, a tall, imposing silhouette, their face hidden from view. Chapter 6. The price revealed. Emily's single quotes as breath hitched as she took a step back, feeling the weight of the figure's gaze despite not being able to see their eyes. The air was thick with energy, and she could feel something deep within her stir, a connection she couldn't explain. You've broken the curse, the figure's voice rumbled, deep and otherworldly, but at what cost? I don't understand, Emily whispered, her voice shaking. She felt disoriented, as if she had stepped into a dream or a nightmare. The library was gone, replaced by this strange, desolate world. Where am I? You are between worlds, the figure replied, their voice carrying the weight of ancient knowledge. You have freed the souls trapped in the library, but you are not yet free yourself. To release the forgotten, you must become one with them. Emily felt her stomach twist. I don't want to be trapped here. I want to go back. Double quotes. The figure's laughter echoed, a hollow sound that seemed to vibrate through her bones. There is no going back. You cannot undo what has been done. The curse is broken. But now you must take your place among the forgotten, or remain here in this limbo forever between. Emily's heart raced. The truth began to sink in. The full weight of her sacrifice. She had chosen to break the curse, to free the trapped souls, but in doing so, she had condemned herself to an eternity in this desolate realm. There was no way to return to her old life. She had given up everything. But then something inside her refused to give in. There had to be a way out. She couldn't let the price of knowledge, the cost of breaking the curse, be her end. Is there no other way? She asked desperately, her voice rising. Is there no escape? The figure paused for a long moment, the clouds above swirling as if contemplating her plea. Finally, they spoke again, their voice softer, more understanding. There is a way, the figure said. But it requires more than just courage. It requires a willingness to sacrifice everything you know, everything you are. Emily's pulse quickened. I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes. Double quotes. The figure stepped closer, their form shifting, becoming less like a shadow and more like something human, something familiar. As they did, the world around her began to change slowly, almost imperceptibly, as if the fabric of reality itself were bending and shifting in response to her words. You must face your true self, the figure said, their voice now echoing with both sorrow and wisdom. You must confront the part of you that you've forgotten, the part of you that carries the curse. Only then can you return. Only then can you be free. The figure extended a hand, and Emily felt a surge of energy flood through her. It was a power unlike anything she had ever felt before, both terrifying and exhilarating. Her vision blurred, and she suddenly found herself surrounded by a swirling mist of memories of things she had long buried deep within her. Chapter 7. Confronting the past. The mist cleared, and Emily found herself standing in a familiar place, her childhood home. She was younger, perhaps 10 years old, standing in the living room with her parents. Her father was sitting in his favorite armchair, reading a book, and her mother was busy in the kitchen. Everything seemed normal, yet there was something off. Her surroundings flickered and shifted, as if they weren't quite real. Emily could hear whispers, low, indistinct voices that seemed to call her name. She turned around quickly, but no one was there. Double quotes. Emily. The whispers grew louder, more urgent. She looked around, feeling a sense of dread creeping up her spine. She recognized the dot voices now they were coming from the people dot in her life, the ones she had forgotten. Her father's face blurred, his features becoming dot twisted, as if something dark was hiding beneath dot the surface. Her mother, too, seemed to change, her eyes filled with a sorrow that Emily had never seen before. Then, without warning, the scene before her shattered like glass, dot revealing a darker, hidden truth. Emily gasped as the truth hit her, all at once. Her parents had been part of the curse, involved in the dark ritual that had bound the library. And the souls within it, they had made a pact. One that had been passed down through generations of her family. And in doing so, they had condemned not only themselves but their bloodline as well. The curse wasn't just a mistake. It was part of who she was, part of her very existence. Chapter 8, The Final Choice. The mist around her thickened, and Emily felt herself being pulled in multiple directions. One part of her wanted to confront the truth, to understand the full extent of her family's role in the curse. The other part, the part of her that longed for freedom, wanted to escape, to return to her old life. But deep down, she knew there was no going back, no matter what choice she made. The price had already been paid. Double quotes. Do you understand now? The figure's voice echoed, gentle yet stern. Emily nodded, her heart heavy with the knowledge that she had no choice but to face the consequences of her actions and the actions of her family. She was not just the key to breaking the curse. She was the one who had to live with its consequences. I'm ready, she said, her voice steady. I will face what comes next. I will do what must be done. Double quotes. And with that, Emily stepped forward into the unknown, ready to confront her destiny, no matter what it might cost her.